Esther Lungu exposed Makebi Zulu, the shocking betrayal by Makebi Zulu you didn't see coming. Good day, viewers.
Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official.
I'm Nakash. Once one of her most trusted allies, Makebi Zulu now stands at the center of what insiders are calling a silent betrayal. Tonight, new revelations suggest that the bond between Esther Lungu and Makebi Zulu, once rooted in loyalty and shared struggle, may have fractured beyond repair.
Was it politics? Personal ambition?
Or something far deeper? Something that could reshape the Patriotic Front from within. It's been quite a week here in Southern Africa, and we've got some powerful stories to share with you today. But first, let me tell you about the lead story that has absolutely shaken Zambian politics to its core. Picture this: a widow, still mourning the loss of her husband, a former president, standing alone in a foreign land. The man she trusted most, the lawyer who stood by her family through their darkest hours, the spokesperson who defended them when the world seemed to turn its back. That very man has now allegedly abandoned her. Not for principle.
Not for justice.
But for something far more seductive. Political power. How does a trusted confidant become the architect of betrayal? What drives a man to leave a grieving widow in South Africa while he returns home to pursue presidential ambitions? When does loyalty end and self-interest begin? Is this about honoring a fallen leader, or is it about positioning oneself to take his place?
Can Esther Lungu ever trust again?
And perhaps most disturbingly, was Makebi Zulu playing the long game all along? The questions are profound. The implications are staggering. And what we've uncovered suggests a betrayal so calculated, so cold, that it has left even seasoned political observers stunned. This is a story about trust destroyed, ambition unmasked, and a family caught in the crossfire of political machinations. The revelation came to light just this week, when sources close to the Lungu family began speaking out about what they describe as a devastating betrayal. To understand this story, we need to go back to June 5, 2025. That's when former Zambian President Edgar Chagwa Lungu passed away in South Africa, where he had traveled for medical treatment. The death occurred 4 months ago, triggering an unprecedented burial impasse between the Lungu family and the Zambian government. Enter Makebi Zulu, a lawyer and politician who quickly positioned himself as the family's spokesperson and legal representative. For months, he stood beside Esther Lungu in South Africa, managing negotiations with the Zambian government, making public statements, and presenting himself as the family's unwavering defender. But something changed recently. Makebi Zulu returned to Zambia from South Africa, and immediately upon his return, sources close to the Lungu family reveal that Mrs. Lungu began expressing deep disappointment and feelings of betrayal. The timeline is critical here. Upon arriving in Lusaka, Zulu didn't head to the Lungu family home. Instead, he went straight to Chimbokela Correctional Facility, where he met with detained Patriotic Front leaders, including Party Secretary General Raphael Nakasinda and several other high-ranking officials. He then met with former Vice President Inange Waina, describing her as a mother of wisdom. These weren't the actions of a grieving family spokesperson. These were the calculated moves of a presidential candidate building political alliances. According to those familiar with the situation, Mrs. Lungu has confided that she feels used and betrayed by Mr. Zulu, who she says has shifted focus from supporting the Lungu family during their time of mourning to advancing his political career amid growing calls for him to contest the 2026 presidential election. The Patriotic Front is preparing for a general conference to elect a new party president. The conference, set to be held within 30 days, will elect a party president and members of the Central Committee, with presidential expression of interest fees set at K200,000. And Makebi Zulu is positioning himself as a leading contender. A family associate who requested anonymity told reporters she feels her trust was misplaced. Esther regrets not listening to the wise counsel of family members, friends, and church elders who had earlier warned her about placing too much trust in politicians with their own agendas. This wasn't a sudden realization. The warnings had been there all along. Throughout the burial negotiations, Zulu had made bold public statements. In an appearance on Emmanuel Mwamba's EMV podcast, he had declared his commitment to the family. If today the president said, "I will not attend Mr. Lungu's burial. I will hand over to the vice president, and we will give him his full honors and all. Tomorrow we would start off to come to Zambia." It is that simple, Mr. Zulu said. He even portrayed himself as willing to sacrifice for the family. We have to respect the widow and the family. As for threats of arrest if I return to Zambia, we have not committed any offense.
Let's stick to the truth.
We are here, and we will protect that wish even if it means any of us going to prison for wanting to honor the wishes of ECL, Mr. Zulu, a lawyer and politician, said. Notice that phrase, lawyer and politician. Even in his declarations of loyalty, Zulu was identifying his dual nature. Lawyer for the family, but also politician with his own ambitions. Speaking during another appearance on the EMV podcast, Mr. Zulu said the family is ready to bring back the late president's body for burial in Zambia once President Hakainde Hichilema agrees to stay away from the funeral proceedings, in line with the family's wishes. Zulu added that government had betrayed the family's trust by breaching the initial agreement regarding the repatriation of Mr. Lungu's remains. But critics have been questioning his motives for weeks. Political analyst Kalufia Kasanda wrote, as Zambia edges closer to the 2026 general election, political ambitions are beginning to clash with loyalty and moral responsibility. One individual at the center of this growing controversy is Makebi Zulu, who serves as both spokesperson and lawyer to the Lungu family. The question that begs an honest answer is Makebi Zulu truly sincere in his dealings with the Lungu family, or is he playing political games of foxes? Kasanda didn't mince words about the conflict of interest. While he continues to speak for and represent the interests of the Lungu family, he is also actively positioning himself to take over the Patriotic Front presidency, a move that clearly signals his ambitions to contest the 2026 presidential election. This dual role presents a glaring conflict of interest. How can Makebi Zulu be expected to faithfully represent the Lungu family, including members like Tasila Lungu, who herself may harbor political ambitions, while simultaneously pursuing his own political agenda within the same party structure? Even more damning was this question. If indeed Makebi is receiving payment from the Lungu family for his legal and spokesperson duties, then ethical questions must be asked. Is he honoring that responsibility, or is he subtly diverting attention and resources to bolster his political career? This betrayal, if that's what it truly is, reveals something deeper about the nature of political loyalty in contemporary African politics. We're looking at a case study in how personal ambition can masquerade as principle, how crisis can become opportunity, and how grief can be weaponized for political gain. The timing is particularly revealing. The Patriotic Front is in disarray. Its leader has passed away. Key members are in detention. The party faces an uncertain future heading into the 2026 elections. And into this vacuum steps Makebi Zulu, not as a mourner, but as a candidate. Political observers have noted the calculated nature of his actions. His first stop upon returning to Zambia was to visit incarcerated PF leaders at Chimbokela Correctional Facility, where he met with Party Secretary General Raphael Nakasinda, former Foreign Affairs Minister Joseph Malangi, and several other detained officials. During the visit, Mr. Zulu expressed solidarity with the incarcerated leaders, pledging to continue standing with them through what he described as a trying moment for the party. These are not the actions of a family spokesperson. These are the actions of a political strategist building coalitions, securing support, and positioning himself for a leadership bid. Mrs. Lungu has reportedly withdrawn from public appearances as she continues to mourn privately while managing the emotional weight of what insiders describe as a deep personal and political betrayal. Meanwhile, Zulu is making the rounds, meeting with party elders, visiting detained leaders, and building his political network. The broader implications extend beyond one family's grief. This situation raises questions about the ethics of legal representation when personal political ambitions are involved. Can a lawyer faithfully represent a client when he stands to benefit from their continued vulnerability? Should there be clearer boundaries between legal representation and political activity? There are also questions about the burial impasse itself. Mr. Lungu died on June 5, 2025, but he has not yet been buried due to disputes over his funeral and burial between the government and the family. Some observers now wonder whether prolonging this impasse serves Zulu's political interests by keeping him in the public eye as a defender of the late president's legacy. One commentator put it bluntly in an article, Makebi Zulu is playing politics and using the burial impasse to win favors over other PF presidential aspirants. Another wrote, he is negotiating as a presidential candidate and not as a family spokesman. He is aware that he is running out of campaign time before the election date. The most serious allegations suggest that Zulu may have actively worked against reaching an agreement with the government, not to protect the family's interests, but to maintain his position as their indispensable spokesman, thereby boosting his political profile. Political observers note that the alleged fallout between Mrs. Lungu and Mr. Zulu could further strain relations within the Patriotic Front, as the party continues to grapple with internal divisions following the passing of its leader and former head of state. If Esther Lungu does indeed withdraw her support from Zulu, it could undermine his presidential ambitions. The Lungu family name still carries significant weight within the PF. Without their blessing, Zulu's path to the presidency becomes considerably more difficult. Yet the damage may already be done. Trust, once broken, is difficult to restore. And in politics, perception often matters more than reality. So where does this leave us? We have a widow who feels betrayed. We have a lawyer-turned-presidential candidate whose loyalties are now in question. We have a burial that remains unresolved months after a president's death. And we have a political party in turmoil, facing an uncertain future. Makebi Zulu, who has in recent weeks made headlines for his political re-emergence following his return from Johannesburg, has not publicly responded to the reported sentiments from the former First Lady. Perhaps he will address these allegations in the coming days. Perhaps he won't. But the silence itself speaks volumes. This story is far from over. As the Patriotic Front moves toward its general conference, as the burial impasse continues, and as the 2026 elections approach, the tension between personal loyalty and political ambition will only intensify. What do you think, viewers? Is this a case of genuine betrayal, or is Esther Lungu being unfair to a man who has stood by her family? Can political ambition and personal loyalty coexist, or are they fundamentally incompatible? And what does this tell us about the state of politics in Zambia and across Africa? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This is the kind of story that generates strong opinions on all sides, and your perspective matters. Tell us what you think about Makebi Zulu's actions, about the ethics of this situation, and about what should happen next. Thank you so much for watching this edition of InspirAfrica Official. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter, more investigations that reveal truth, and more conversations that challenge us to think deeper about the world around us. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired. This is Nakash, signing off.